Is that right? Watch that lap, baby. Watch that lap. Watch that lap. Watch that lap. Let's box. Let's box. Nice. Beautiful.
B3 Pick CV back again. Tap the like button, follow the channel, help the channel grow. We definitely working. Shout out to the Sports Talk Network, the People's Network. Man, we building. Oh man, it feels so good to be back, man. Hopefully the people show up. I done already dropped the link in the members chat. We'll see who can pull up and cook with us for a little bit. Hey, we working smarter, not harder. This the year of consistency for us. We gonna consistently show up and put in that work. But at the end of the day, everything in life gotta make sense. It's an order to life and it's a way to do things. And when it's time to make adjustments, you gotta make adjustments. Yeah. Salute to my brother Marky Dan, member for a month. God bless you, Marky. Appreciate that, bro. Yeah, throw them members, throw them chats in there. The people need to know. Blacks can support each other. Yep. People need to know. And we don't want no excuses. A lot of people have excuses about what they can do and can't do, and or they got bills, man. Ain't nobody got no $7 bill. The only $7 bill you gonna have is supporting your brother B3 and B3 Picks TV. That's it, that's all. If you can't do it, understandable. But you lying to yourself. Put down the weed, put down the booze, get off OnlyFans, stop tricking off on Shorty. That ain't doing nothing but showing titty and ass. And support real genuine people. Support men, raise up a generation of men. The problem, see what's happening today is men are not throwing into each other the right things. All we doing is teaching the young brothers is to smoke weed and fornicate. If that's what your mission is, you working for the devil. You're not working for God. You doing things in the world and you of the world. So you really gotta check yourself. So I appreciate my brother Marky Dan walking it like he talking, supporting a brother, wanting to see the channel grow, wanting to help the channel build, and and make sure y'all follow Democracy 101. Support Marky Dan, support Democracy Briefings. That's what it's about. Reach one, teach one. Man, it's a way that you reap what you sow in life. If you sow good things, you'll reap good things. If you sow positivity, you'll reap positivity. If you sow negativity, you'll reap negativity. And you got to be very mindful of those things. Every action you take is a seed you sow into your children's future. Be very cognizant of what you're doing on an everyday basis, because the kids are at stake, your children are at stake. Your kids mimic what you do, right? What you consume, your kids should be able to consume. We have a no cursing platform. When I'm on TikTok, I have people's wives and children looking at me. I don't sexualize myself because at the end of the day, I'm responsible for everything I do and everything I say. And people are gonna take what I do and they're gonna mimic it. It's happened all my life. So I'm leading by example. We need more men that lead by example. We need more men to hold themselves accountable and stop enabling yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Stop being inebriated. Get off of the drugs. Get off of the booze. Get off of OnlyFans and watching corn and all that other stuff, and just be honorable. Stand up with your head high and your back straight. We gotta wake up, man. We gotta in life. We gotta wake up and stop lying all the time. Stop making excuses and stop lying. It's sickening. Nobody want to nobody want to hear brothers lying and acting like they can't do this and they can't do that. Shut up. Stop lying. We can do all things through Christ that strengthens us. So we gotta make stuff make sense. Shout out to the good brother Bruce Gas pulling up. Shout out to Zion. Appreciate you pulling up. Listen, everybody not gonna want to be around me because I'm gonna call out the BS. We gotta wake up, man. We gotta wake up. Appreciate you, Ace. Thank you for pulling up. At the end of the day, our kids at stake, and these brothers is getting gunned down in the street. It's people committing mass genocide in their own homes. They killing their kids and all other type of stuff. It's a lot going on, man. Y'all better be prayed up and wake up. This life ain't a game. Everybody's sitting around thinking this stuff is a game. You're not Snoop Dogg. You're not Wiz, and you're not Bruce Gas. Bruce Gas has lived a long life already. He can do whatever he please to do because he's earned the right to do that. Y'all young brothers, y'all gotta wake up, man. Y'all still got a lot of sowing to do and growing to do. It's a lot of underdeveloped minds out here. We all still gotta lead by example, but you can't do it. You can't compare yourself to the next person. You gotta do what you can do. Do what you're supposed to do. Hold your weight. Hold your end of the bargain. And all that means is walk it how you talk it. If you got kids and you want your kids to be successful and live a prosperous life, every action you take in life is a seed that you're sowing into their future. Be very careful what you consume. What you consume, your kids will consume. What you sow into, your kids are going to reap that. So if you sow in a positive men of God trying to move in the right direction, your kids will receive that blessing. That's favor. They'll reap a reward from that. If you sowing into negativity, if you sowing into people being profane and or gay sex or whatever these shows want to perpetrate, these all these P Valley, all these weird shows. If that's what you want to sow, okay. You sow your time in that, your kids are gonna be watching that stuff. Your kids are gonna be consuming that same content. Man, we gotta wake up. Let me bring my brother Marky Dan. And Marky Dan, how you feeling, bro? Because we can get this unboxing. I cook all day on that. That's all we working. What's going on, Mark? How you feeling? Mark, you on mute, family. I think Mark probably
Oh,
with
my
a
bad.
client.
Sorry, I was I was saying well what I was saying on mute. I feel blessed. I'm happy to be alive, happy to be up here with B3O picks, man. Smash the like button.
Yeah. Please smash the like button. Before we go on, Mark, what do you think about what I said about every action you take in life is a seed that you sow into your child's future?
Absolutely, I agree. And you see that worked out in real time and real data. If you look at specifically with the black community, when it comes to things like literacy rates, it also coincides with childhood fatherlessness. Okay, and those fathers they sow nothing into their kids, and those kids they come up with a sense of a lack of value, and they get their value
Mark, you went out on us. I want Mark to finish that. That was tough. I think he was gonna say they have a lack of value. They don't know their self. They can't see their self worth. Yeah, they don't understand it because nobody's sowing into them the right things. Mark, you went out. Hold on, let me refresh too. Marky Dan the man, we can't hear you, champ. We can't hear Mark. But Mark is on point. Yo, I got a big old healthy smoothie.
Absolutely. So I
Mark.
agree with you completely. Can you hear
Oh
me?
my, Mark, you gonna have to repeat that whole thing. You was cooking, I bet, and you was out.
Oh, that's
You got to
crazy.
start. Yeah, you got to. I know you was cooking. Just get back to where you was saying.
Well,
Yeah, you was talking about the literacy rates. You got to start back from that point about or the value system. About how the kids don't have a value system because their father's not around.
exactly. I mean, a lot of these kids they get their value from social media or from other people instead of getting your values from your own principles and your own self achievements. Like, and it's even sad. Like I look at, I'm not from New York, but I see a lot of these New York kids on social media. You know, they call each other like they call their friends like their sons. That's sad, B3. That when a 9 year old is calling a 8 year old his son, like to me that speaks to a deeper bit of trauma of maybe not having your father there, and then you relying on a 9 year old or an 8 year old to be your role model, and that's always going to lead to disaster every single time. So what I would, and I agree with you, you got to sow into your kids. I'm not really too religious. I was baptized into the Catholic Church, spent my entire life in Catholic school and in the church, but what I would tell to anybody is God is in the spirit of your children. It is in the spirit of what you teach them. It is in the spirit of what you show them. And one of like my favorite chapters in quotes from the Bible is when Jesus tells the devil after Jesus is in the desert for 60 days and the devil is offering him the entire world. I could do this for you. I could do that for you. Just eat this piece of bread and drink some water. Hold on, man. My bad. I keep getting phone calls. Sorry. But
You good,
my,
Mark?
my whole point is
Appreciate you, Pride. Appreciate you, Mark. Go ahead, Mark. Yeah, Mark must have got another phone call.
yeah, my bad. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
The main point is instill integrity into your children. Teach them to have a high moral compass for themselves. Teach them to rely on their own, to have self belief, and to not buy into anything that comes before them. And that's the main things I would say. But go ahead. I got to take this phone call. Give me one sec.
All right, Mark. Appreciate you.
And
Yeah, get that.
salute to Green Banana One. Salute to Bodega One, my brother.
Our brother Juan Claudio is definitely working. Appreciate you, Pride.
Yeah, you know.
Hey, I hope. Hey, Juan. I hope Bodega One clone number two. I hope he's treating you well.
Yeah. Yeah. What's
He
going on,
working.
play?
He working, Juan.
We working.
Uh, we definitely working. Before we move on, Juan, just speak about that. Every action you take is a seed that you sow into your children's future. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean it's true. I mean if you have kids, if you have kids right now, every action you take, you know what I'm saying? Like my first kid, I was 21. I just had turned 20. Well, yeah, I just had turned 21 when he was first born. Um, and it completely changed my life around. I mean, I wasn't the pitch perfect person, but I'm still working on myself, but I also was at a darker place at the time. So you definitely, you definitely always want to, make sure every step you take is for your kids. I mean, that's, you know, thing number one for before anybody or anything is, you take care of your kids first and you make sure your kids are always, priority number one. I make sure my kids is before me, before anything. You know what I'm saying? So you know, that's the first thing you always want to do is make sure your kids is, the best thing you can.
Absolutely. I'm in full agreement with you now. Let's pivot to boxing real quick, Juan.
Yeah, let's do it.
And one of the biggest fathers, one of the fathers that has done the best in the sport of boxing, Bill Haney, talking about Devin Haney. And Debo asked, does he keep his belt if he fights for Zuffa temporarily? It depends on the WBO. The WBO president, we'll see what they say.
Hmm.
The IBF is different. You know, the IBF is separate. You know, they're a little bit stricter. Um, the WBO may allow Devin to fight for and keep the belt if he pays a sanctioning fee. We just have to see. There's no
My bad.
mandatory right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no
More than
mandatory
likely.
right now.
More than
Yeah,
likely.
right, right. Let's talk about that real quick. I want to kick it off. Mark, you back?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you this. It's a lot of Devin is getting a lot of criticism right now for potentially signing with Zuffa. What's your thoughts on that? I mean, isn't he supposed to, go with the biggest money? He's a prize fighter. Do you feel like he's getting unfair criticism? Break that down, Marky. The Hitchens and Conor Ben fight are potential fights on the table. What's
Um,
your thoughts on all that?
the only people who are really giving him like or at least from what I've seen, the only people giving him like serious criticism is the establishment. And Devin Haney, out of every fighter, has every right to give the establishment his bare black ass to kiss. Like
Oh
we've
wow.
seen for years. No, B3. We saw how the WBC basically blackballed Devin Haney out of getting that world title shot against Tiafimo and
Yeah.
Lomachenko. They created a duck belt specifically at 135 to so that they could ice him out.
Hey,
Okay,
Mark. Not only that, they let Lomachenko jump him. He was a champion, a unified champion, and they let him petition to fight Luke Campbell and jump Devin Haney.
there you go.
Oh,
There you go.
Yep.
I mean, we seen how the WBC backed Ryan Garcia after he popped dirty and then stripped Devin Haney. And I can I've been trying to find the quotes, but I remember Mauricio Suleiman basically alluding to the fact that Devin Haney is a cow. I can't find the quote, but I remember this at the time that Mauricio Suleiman was basically alluding to the fact that Devin Haney is a coward for not taking his mandatory against Sandro Martin at the time and saying that Ryan Garcia needs help and we need to stand by our fighter. And then they don't expel Ryan Garcia till he makes just the most outrageous comments about George Floyd and the Triple K group.
hmm.
And then they bring him back like a couple months later, and a year later they give him their belt
Right.
on top of all the others, on top of the PBC and how they treat Devin Haney because he didn't sign with Floyd. So no, like Devin Haney, if Zuffa is offering him the most money, especially when we hear these reports that Devin Haney was not being offered a guaranteed purse, which is just the most insane, outrageous thing I've ever heard for a three-time champion, former undisputed, who's been on multiple successful pay-per-views. He did 175K with Loma. I believe he did somewhere between 500 and 800,000 with Ryan Garcia. Like, no. What are we talking about? If y'all dudes cannot if y'all dudes like Lewis Crocker, Eddie Hearn wants him to sign a multi-fight deal with him. Now, I don't know how much guaranteed bread Devin Haney would have got for that, but I'm certain Zuffa, in partnership with Riyadh Season, is offering him more money. Okay, so I don't have no problem with this. On top of the fact they've signed some pretty good fighters at 147. Connor Ben, Richardson Hitchens, and we'll see who else they sign because they've been picking up a lot of good names.
They're gonna pick
So
up Tio.
I don't have no problem
Then
with
they
it.
got
This
Hammer
is
Hands
the free
Rodriguez
market.
too.
They're gonna
He's not a slave to nobody.
he gonna pick up Tio. They're gonna pick up Tio. I think
Absolutely, they're gonna pick up To. That's
they
perfect,
all
Mark.
I think all roads. Anybody that's dealing with Kevin Connolly
And
is more than
one
likely
last
heading
thing,
that way.
one last quick thing. F the
Good man.
belts. I've made it clear from the beginning. F the sanctioning bodies and their belts. Okay? I dream of a day when all these current champions just drop the belts and sign with Zuffa or sign with UBOs and compete for their organization's belts. Like F these people. They don't do nothing but steal from the fighters. I'm cool on these people. They're as
Right.
corrupt as they get. They sanction racist judges like the WBA. We saw what they did with Mikhail Fox a couple years ago with that judge who blatantly robbed him and was on social media talking about monkeys and all this and that. F these people. And I'll pass the mic on that.
Yeah, and appreciate my brother Free pulling up. Hey, if y'all in the chat, please follow Marky Dan, Democracy 101, Democracy Briefings. Also follow my brother Just As Juan Claudio, and follow my brother D Free Sports Talk, the Sports Talk Network, the People's Network. Y'all already know we working. Before Juan, you want to get this, and I'm gonna bring Free and Juan. Cook on that real quick. What's your thoughts on Devin getting criticized for potentially signing with Zuffa? Seems to me that Conor Ben avoided the Devin Haney fight before he
I
got the
think,
Zuffa
but
contract. Ryan is
I
moving
just
around Devin. What's your thoughts?
I just think if the case may be that he's starting to sign with Zuffa, then that's what y'all want. What are you? If you this if, in all reality, if this is the case that he's signing with Zuffa, why wouldn't you want him to sign with Zuffa? We get the fight. Now we get the fight because if the case may be that, let's say that further down the road, Ryan decides, all right, I'm gonna sign with Zuffa because Turkey is his boy. We get the fight. We get the fight with Conor because obviously he just signed a multi-year deal. We get in the fight with somebody like Dalton Smith because he well not Dalton Smith. What's this name? What's this truth's name? Uh, Richardson
Oh,
Hitchens because he just
yeah,
signed the deal. So what's the issue? Everybody just has an issue with. I feel like with everything that he does, and it's just starting to kind of get annoying.
yeah. It's
Can y'all
the
hear
it's
one?
the yeah. I heard one. You can't hear him, Mark.
Yeah, let me go out and come back. Give me a sec.
Yeah, let's bring in D Freezy. Free. Break this down, Free. Salute to you, family. Appreciate you pulling up. Talk about this. Like, do you have any issues with Devin Haney signing with Zuffa Boxing? Do you see that as like a good move for him right now, or do you feel like he should move and do something else right now?
I have no problem with him signing with a promotional company. I mean, everybody needs to sign with a promotional company at some point in time. I think everybody's looking at Zuffa as their own league, but Zuffa is letting it be known that they're not really a league. They're more of a promotional company.
Yeah,
And right now, Devin Haney he can't get no fights because of the simple fact he doesn't have a promotional company behind him. So he
yeah,
needs to sign with somebody in order to get a fight. Um, he chose to sign with Zuffa. I have no problem with it. I mean, if Zuffa is going to give him the money that he's looking for, so be it. Ain't nobody else is willing to spend the money on him. Like you got to look at it for what it is. Like everybody, we thought Zuffa was going to create their own league, which they just use that as a way to start their own promotional company. They're not actually creating a league. They're starting their own promotional company, and they just created another side of the street. As long as they can make the fights, I have no problem with anybody signing the Zuffa. I have no problem with nobody signing anywhere. Wherever they can sign is where they sign at. I don't have a promotional company, so what am I going to be mad about it for? So I have no problem with Devin signing over there to Zuffa. If he can get the fights, as long as he can get the fights, it shouldn't be an issue. Now, if he's going over there and he's fighting a bunch of UK fighters and he's not fighting the fights that he say he wants to fight or the fights that the fans wants to see, then that's when people going to have a problem. But as long as he's getting the fights, it shouldn't be a problem.
nah, I agree 1,000%. And shout out to Southwest Dice pulling up. Free. Do you feel like, just real quick, Free? With Del Connor Ben or Richardson Hitchens, what's the better fight in your opinion for Devin, or more competitive fight? And lay those put those fights out there for us for Devin really quick. How do you see those fights playing out? Connor Ben and Hitchens.
I think I think the better fight is Conor Ben. I think if Devin fight Richardson Hitchens, it won't be competitive. It'll be boring. It'll just be a bunch of jabbing. Conor Ben has a bigger name than Richardson Hitchens, so it's a better fight overall. It's a bigger money fight. Is a more a bigger name in
Lucrative.
the sport. Yeah, a more lucrative fight is a bigger name in the sport of boxing, and it's a more competitive fight. So, I mean, Richardson Hitchens, he's not a big name. He's not a money fight. and it's not going to be competitive. It's just going to be a bunch of jabbing, grabbing, repositioning, and that's all you're going to see throughout that fight. We're not going to see any no action. I think like BVO used to always say, he believed that Richardson Hitchin is a poor man's Devin Haney, and I would say he's somewhat like a Devin Haney. I wouldn't say, excuse me, he doesn't have the boxing ability of Devin Haney, but I would say he's somewhat like Devin Haney, where it's just a bunch of a bunch
He reminds me of a less
jabbing.
he he reminds me of a lesser polished Corey Spinks in a way. Like Corey was super like polished and stuff like that. He just reminds me of him so much because everything works behind his jab. So like if he don't got his jab going, that's an off day for him. So it's just
Yeah, I think
he's a lesser polished Corey Spinks, and for y'all
I
that
think
know who Corey Spinks is,
yeah,
y'all gotta go.
I think Richardson wants the Devin Haney fight because that makes his name bigger. It doesn't make Devin name bigger. It makes Richardson Hitchens name bigger. Devin Haney name is much bigger than Richardson Hitchens. Connor Ben name
Absolutely.
is much bigger than Richardson Hitchens. So, like I said, the bigger fight is Connor Ben, not Richardson Hitchens. That's just a fight to blow up Richardson Hitchens, not anybody else.
I think
Devo,
either way,
salute. Bobby,
e-
salute. Appreciate y'all.
either way, because again, like I just said, I think Teal's gonna sign there. Obviously the Kevin Connolly connection, that also have still helps it, and I think all roads are pointing to a if the case may be that these reports are true, all roads are pointing into a Teal Devin fight whenever the fall comes. Because if the case may be they sign now, they probably wait another couple months to announce the fight, but they'll have them two ready set to go probably either midsummer or early fall. So that's my prediction, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah, Marky, let me ask you, let me bring you in, Mark. Like,
Hmm.
how do you see that Devin Haney versus Conor been playing out?
I see Devin Haney putting on a masterclass. Nothing in Conor Ben's fights to this point, nothing about his style gives me the impression that he would be able to impose anything on Devin Haney. He hasn't shown the footwork to be able to corner a mover. I mean, like his defense, there's a ton of holes in it. Like even just this last fight, and obviously the triangle theory doesn't work 100% of the time in boxing, but we saw what Devin Haney did with a much young with or not much younger, but a younger Regis Prograis, who people said after that fight that Regis Prograis has the worst footwork they've ever seen. And we saw Conor Ben not able to do anything other than go in straight lines towards Regis Prograis and really make it into a bit of a war. So I don't see really anything that Conor Ben could do to corner Devin Haney. I think Devin Haney is going to keep that fight at the distance he likes it. Um, I think Devin Haney. Now, yeah, I think Devin Haney is bigger than Conor Ben. I think that Devin Haney will be able to bully him on the inside in them clinches and get in some good body shots or some good uppercuts. So, yeah, I just see it being a total one sided. Like Floyd. I think it was Floyd Senior who said it. A one way show. I see it being a one way show.
Nah, he was like, it was a one-way deal.
Yeah. A one way deal.
He was like, don't even ask.
Man, that's one of the coldest lines that ever came out of Floyd Senior, bro.
He was like, huh? He was like, don't even ask. It was a one-way deal. That was
Dang.
funny, man. That was hilarious. Let me see. Do I have anything with them on there? Not right now. I don't think. I don't think I do. It was some. It was kind of like this, man.
Almost knocked you out.
That's the best clip in boxing. Let me just say this and shout out to Angie, baby, pulling up, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate y'all. It said, and Ben
Salute to
has
Dominican Angie.
and Ben has to drain down almost 3 pounds, 3 more pounds. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't. I mean, kind of Ben He looked horrible versus Regis. I don't mean no harm in comparison to fighting a Devin Haney. If you really analyzing the fight in boxing, any these top elite fighters, man, they know how to keep their distance. You can't just be headbutting them and like swelling up their. Imagine Shakur allowing somebody to get on the inside and headbutt him 3 or 4 times and have him all bloody and leaky like that. It ain't gonna happen. These elite boxers, they know how to keep their distance. They know how to keep you on the outside. They know how to use the jab. They know how to, hide the jab, hide the right hand behind the jab or hide their brick hand behind the jab. I mean, they just elite fighters. Tank Davis, look how Tank boxes on the outside,
You know,
keeping
a
his
fight I
distance.
wouldn't mind seeing three, because Butayev, they said Butayev could come down to 147. I wouldn't mind seeing Hitchens fight Butayev in the meantime. Or if Baldchuck,
Oh yeah.
I don't think Baldchuck can make 47, but
Mm-mm.
maybe, you never know.
I
I
watched
don't
that.
think
I
he
watched
can.
Standing on it. I watched Hitch and Standing on it.
I wouldn't mind that either. Facts. That's a former champ.
That's a good fight for Hitchens. We just got to see, man. It's got to make sense. Zuffa's doing some good things. Now, let me pivot it real quick, Marky, while I got you here. Did you see any of the hearing? I seen a little bit of Nico Ali Walsh speaking in front of the Senate and also Oscar De La Hoya. Did you get to see any of it?
No, I didn't. What they
Okay.
had to say.
So essentially, they're speaking against it. Oscar was really adamant, talking about Saudi money and the fact that the UFC has had multiple lawsuits against them, trying to deter that this bill going into effect. Um, Also, Nico Ali Walsh said that he didn't want his grandfather's name to be associated with it. The little bit, the excerpt I heard was that a league would it be but essentially be able to choose, be able to decide where you fight, when you fight, who you fight, and how much you get paid. And he was saying that there is no choice in that for the fighters. The fighters lose their right to choose based on those that being what Zuf is going to stand for. They're going to pick your opponent. They're going to let you know what you're going to get paid, when you're going to fight, where you're going to fight, and the fighter pretty much has to go with it. Based on that agreement. What's your thoughts on that specifically, Mark? Like the Zuffa coming in similar to the UFC style and pretty much picking the opponents, and the fighters really pretty much having to ride with it.
Um, just being honest, I don't mind it because I see the product that they have over there in UFC. And I like the fact that the UFC controls the ranking systems and that Dana White, literally the same night after you fight somebody, he can definitively say, like that kid Hokit, well, the guy we saw fight Curtis Blades
Yeah,
the
Hokie.
other weekend.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
American.
Immediately after Hokit beat Curtis Blades, Dana White said, "Yeah, we're gonna get him on the June on the White House June card against Derek the Black Beast Lewis." Right then and there. Like we didn't have to wait 4 or 5 months. Like I remember when Jermel Charlo fought Brian Castano the first time. That was a great fight. But I never forgot, like we had to wait a year and a half to hear about the rematch. And that's one of the problems I have in boxing. But overall, I don't mind Oscar and Nico going up there and stating their concerns because I have some of those concerns. It does destroy the leverage and bargaining power for the fighters, which is why I've said that the fighters need to come together on one accord and try to work out how they're going to unionize so or step forward with some type of proposal which would give them bargaining power. But I think that they speak into the wind. At the end of the day, Dana White is best friends with the orange guy, and TKO, they have their super PACs, and we are in an election season, and Oscar De La Hoya does not have his own super PAC. He's not donating or providing to none of these people's political campaigns. So they're talking to the wind, and I do think that's sad because I don't think that the fight. I think that the congressmen they're taking more into account the product that boxing is, which is we're frustrated a lot of times with the product, and basically feel that the current product is a failure if you were to compare it to the UFC and other sports leagues. But I do take Nico Ali Walsh's concern seriously. And Oscar, I mean, right now Oscar has nobody other than Zerto Ramirez. Outside of that, he doesn't have any champions on his roster.
Yeah, well,
And the
Ryan.
next big fighter he has, what'd you say?
He has Ryan, and then
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
he has Ryan Garcia,
You got
and
Ryan.
he got
Oh,
Virgil
right. He
Ortiz is
does
in
have
the
Ryan.
room
That's
at
true.
154. He has the unified champion Oscar Collazo and the undisputed champion Gabriela Fondor.
Yeah, he got a
Oscar
lot of
Collazo. Who's
champions.
that?
Palazzo, the
Oscar
Puerto Rican
Collazo.
at
What weight is
Yeah,
that?
105.
105. Yeah, he's
105.
a unified.
Puerto Rican.
He's number 9 in the pound for pound. Mark.
Y'all scratching out on my end. Hold on. Let me go and come
Marky
back.
don't
Give me
pay
one
attention
second.
to the lower weights.
Cook on that free. I heard. I seen you concerned what Marky was talking. Cook on that.
No, no, it's crazy. I mean, basically what they're saying is the fighters have no say on what they do. Well, that's what they're trying to
And he has
pass. The fighter
sports
has
over, right?
the fighters have no say on how much they get paid. They have no say on who they can fight. Now, I hear what Maki's saying
Hold on,
about
free.
the
Let me say this
UFC.
real quick, free. My bad. Reese, salute to you. Appreciate you pulling up. Yeah, we run off StreamYard. We do a members only panel. We growing our channel. We a growing channel. We need members only. We need people to support the channel. So we gotta do members only panel. That's just what it is. Everybody not gonna like it, but that's what we do. The membership is $7 a month. Um, if you can do it, great. And you can definitely come on and get your piece. We don't do no cursing on the panel. We are gentlemen here. But that's what it is. Appreciate you pulling up. Go ahead, free.
Yeah,
Can
no,
I
but
can
I,
I
I
just say
hear
one
I hear
one
what
thing
Maki's
before
saying.
free?
And as soon as you join the membership, like it's like a click, like an Apple Pay click away. Definitely, you can join the panel.
Yeah, I
Go
hear.
ahead, free.
Can I just say one thing before free goes in? It wouldn't be as bad if maybe like a MVP Promotions they got more serious on the men's side of it and they were going into the UBO business, or then you had other UBO promotions out there who were maybe backed by Netflix who had their own big $1 billion to $100 million deals, but you don't really have that. There's only Zuffa in this space that has that type of funding and resources. So there is not going to be no bargaining power where the fighters could be like, well, I've done this. This is my resume right here. If you don't pay me this, I can go over here to X, Y, and Z promotions at Netflix and get this right here. So if you want me to stay over here, you need to pay me this. There's not going to be that, which is another sad part of this. And Dana White, the congressmen that are paid by TKO's super PAC, they know this and they taking advantage of that. And once again, it's sad because the fighters they're not gonna come together and unionize. So it's like watching a train wreck coming, and the train wreck is gonna be the fighters.
And let me say this. Shout out to Kill. Appreciate you, Kill, blessing us again in a super chat. Always supporting. Want to see the channel grow. Member of the channel, supporter of the channel. She said, "Happy Wednesday, guys. Appreciate you, Kill. Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day." Um, I'm gonna put the link in the chat. You already know. But if I don't know you, don't hit the link. You know who you
Yeah,
are if you can hit the link respectfully. We need like stay in the chat. Support the channel the way you see fit. Some people they can only support through viewership. We need that. But we also need people to join the membership and bless the super things, bless the super chat, so we can get to where we going in life. This is not a game. We're not here for fun. We really here to build. Go ahead, free cook on the free.
yeah. Well, like I said, nah. What Marky is saying, I don't agree with. I mean, it's not good. It's not good at all. I mean, he's saying what Dana White did with the UFC, and we see the UFC fighters complain all the time about their pay. Yes, they put on good fights, but the fighters are not making any money. They're not getting anything in return. They putting their life on the line, and they out here fighting for pennies. Yes, you have a couple of fighters that's making money, but those couple are of very few. But like I said, the fighters have no say in who they can fight, how much money they can make. With the way it is right now, it's the sanctioning bodies. Yes, the fighters can pick who they want to fight, but the sanctioning body ultimately has to sanction that fight in order for that to be a legitimate fight. If the sanction body don't sanction that fight, it's not a legitimate fight. And then you have champions that's have a ranking system. They have to be within the ranking system in order for that champion to fight those fighters. So the way that they trying to do it is it doesn't matter if you're a champion or you're a regular fighter. We pick your fights, and they can still promote who they want to promote. You can have a fighter that's a very good fighter, but because they want to promote who they want to promote, that very good fighter still doesn't get any airplay because they want to promote certain individuals. They have their favorites that they want to promote. We see it in the UFC a lot of times. They have certain fighters that they promote and certain fighters they don't promote. That's very good fighters. They just don't get the promotion behind them. So it's still the same thing. So I think and another thing is they closing the books to these fighters. These fighters can't see what the numbers is being made. So the fighters don't know how much money they actually generate so they can say, hey, well, I'm generating this amount of money, but you only paying me this. Why are you only paying me this if I'm generating $100 million? Why are you only paying me 2 million if I'm generating 100 million? And that's what the fighters they're closing the books on the fighters, and they're allowing the promoters to once again be like back in the day where the promoter pick who they want to fight and pay the fighters what they want to pay them. No, it's a bad thing all the way around.
And salute to my brother Toledo Treese and also the family Bentley supporters of the channel. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all, good brothers. Go ahead, Mark. Your
Well,
response.
what I would say, Free, is I'm not saying it's necessarily a good thing, and I stated that it kills the fighters' bargaining power and their leverage power. What I'm saying is the product of the UFC, regardless of how I feel about how the fighters get done, how the champions they seem to get closed, really closed out of, like you just stated, they get closed out of the numbers in the books. So they get paid these well, they used to get paid pay-per-view points. I don't know how they're getting compensated for that now. There's word that I heard Conor McGregor say, even though McGregor's probably never coming back, I heard him say he wants to renegotiate his contract completely. I don't know if that's how it's going to work for all these champions or all the fighters in general, but just the reality is the product is better. Like there's a reason why the UFC is able to go out there and get $7 billion from Paramount Plus. There's a reason why they can do weekly, week to week, big time cards and fill out arenas, no matter who's main eventing. And that's really all I'm saying. I'm not saying that this is necessarily a good thing for the fighters, and that's always
Uh,
what I've said, D. Free. I've always
you
said the
you
fighters
you
need
you
to
know
come
you know
together
why
in
you
order.
know why
You know
why the
what? Let me just
UFC
finish this point. Well, go ahead. Go ahead. Let me hear what you say.
well, you know why the UFC is so profitable because they have a lot more knockouts. That's why people like to see knockouts. They have a lot more knockouts in the UFC. That's why it's so profitable. It's not because the fights are better or anything like that. It's because it's more action. There is more knockouts because you're using your feet, you're using your knee, you're using your elbow. So it's a lot more chances of a person getting bloody, getting beat up, getting knocked out, getting submitted. That's why the UFC is so profitable. It has nothing to do with the competition level. It's because it's more action, because there's more chances of somebody getting beat up, getting bloody, and getting knocked out. That's why it's more profitable.
That could be D.
Yeah.
Free, but in Bellator they got knockouts, and just stating facts and
And Bellator
their
doing a lot. They
product,
doing a lot.
their pro-
Bellator grown a lot since they first started. I don't know if you've been paying
no,
attention,
they've
but
grown.
they've
They've
grown a
definitely
lot.
grown, but but
So
what they're still taking in old men from the UFC. That's still their product model. That's what they've always been doing.
They
But
take in the UFC's throwaways.
that's because the fans going to transfer with those fighters. You know, you build up your fan base, and them dudes can still sell because the people want to see them because they got entertaining fights. That's what it is.
Man,
Man, listen, you know, you already know. People was watch Chuck Liddell till he's 67 years old. They don't care. They'll watch that brother any day of the week.
Yeah, Chuck Liddell was a huge
I don't
star.
know.
Randy was a huge star. Ortiz was a huge star. Rampage was a huge star. Those guys, it doesn't matter if they was on the US, if they would have left the UFC and went to Bellator, their fans would have followed them over to Bellator. They'd have followed
Well,
them over to
I'm
Bellator.
gonna say that's not true. And
Bellator got bought by the
the
UFC
pay per
though,
view
Mark.
number. What'd you say?
It's only PFL now. Bellator got bought out by the UFC. It's UFC then PFL.
Well, exactly, and that's
And,
always been the UFC's
and that's
model. They are a
and that's a
carnival.
reason. It's a
They
reason why they bought Bellator, because Bellator was getting bigger, and they was like, hold up,
Yeah.
this is our competition. They making some airway. Let's buy them out now, so we ain't got to worry about them. Now they're second class to
but
us. That we own them.
Yeah.
that's always been their model though. Free. That's what they did to Strike Force. That's what they did to WEC. That's what they did to Pride. And now they've grown to be a big ass $1 billion conglomerate. And guys like AJ McKee. The, wait, I'm not even. I gotta look that up. B3. You said they bought out Bellator. I didn't even hear about that.
That's what
Mhm.
Tito said.
Trees. Nah, trees.
Tree
Nah,
said. Tree said that.
I'm pretty sure. I'm verifying it now.
No,
But
but
I mean,
either
I
which
wouldn't doubt
way,
it.
even before, but hold on, even before that, D3, Bellator's product was not being. Let me not say it's not as well received. Like if you're a hardcore MMA fan, you might tune in over there, and they might have some good fights. Like I remember Michael Chandler, Eddie Alvarez. They came from Bellator. Patricio
all right,
Pitbull. He's over there
let
with.
me correct that. My bad. Let me correct that real quick. Based on what I'm looking at now, Bellator was not bought by the UFC in November
That's what I
2023.
said. Cause
The
AJ
T
McKee.
hold on, Mark. The Professional Fighters League (PFL) acquired Bellator MMA from Paramount Global. So yeah, so PFL actually acquired Bellator. So it's still UFC and PFL. So PFL stepped in as the secondary competitor for UFC. So yeah, PFL is the one.
That's why I
Um,
said because I didn't see a guy like AJ McKee going on being in the UFC. That would have made some noise. I would have heard about that. But I don't mind it. Listen, and that shows you the MMA space, particularly in America on the national level, there's competition. Because PFL, I like the model they got. You see them B3, they do like yearly Grand Prix tournaments, and they have like a season. And I remember they brought in Clarissa Shields. You know what I'm saying? That was a point in time people were interested in
yeah,
what PFL was doing. You even had some boxing fans going over there just to check on what she was doing.
Savannah.
Um, Francis Ngannou, I think they them bringing in Francis Ngannou that brought in some Saudi UAE dollars because they took him over there so that Francis Ngannou could knock out they PFL's heavyweight champion. But overall, what I'm saying is there is like, and this is just my opinion, but I don't think many people would disagree with me. The product of what the UFC gives their fans is much better than what we have in boxing on a consistent basis. I am not in any way alluding to that this would be a good thing for the fighters. And I have stood on the cross and I've said it time and time again that fighters need to unionize. When it comes to these big leagues like this, the only even in places like the NBA where there's not really much competition in the major basketball markets or the NFL or the MLB where it seems like they have a monopoly. The reason why those athletes can get paid so much is because they have a union. And they can all get together and say, well, if you're not going to agree to our conditions for the CBA, we're going to strike. And all of us are going to lose money. But you're never going to get, or I'm not going to say you're never going to get to that point because the antitrust lawsuit is probably going to get settled really soon. And that might give the UFC fighters some bargaining power, and you never know, that might change the business.
Let me
But
jump
I
in
don't
real
think
quick, Mark.
boxing. Go ahead.
And shout out to AC, the aircraft carrier. Appreciate you, carrier, pulling up. Shout out to Treese. Yeah, we on the same team, Treese. You already know. I got you. And Bentley still here cooking with us. We definitely touched on it. We touched on it. I forgot. I had a point to make about what Marky was saying. Oh, but I was gonna say this. This is what I wanted to say. The fighters, they need a fighters union, not boxers, not MMA fighters. They need a fighter because the what Zoof is doing, and all of it's coming under TKO Holdings. So they need to make a pact. All combat sports athletes need to be under one union mark, so they can combat what's going on. It could work that way. It could work that way. Absolutely.
I don't think so because well, listen, I like ideas, but at the same time, I think that just it clogs up everything. So like if the UFC fighters decide that okay, we like these conditions, we'll be willing to sign a CBA to this. But then the boxers say, "No, this doesn't work for us. We're not used to taking this amount of pay or these X, Y, and Z conditions. We don't want to sign to this." Now I feel like I just feel like it's better for each sport to have their own union. Like we don't see that with the NFL. The NFL and NBA don't have a combined union. That's for a reason. Like that's just how I feel. But go ahead.
You said too many boxing out. That's only because what you're saying. Too many boxing promoters. And the thing is that okay, well, I mean, they're gonna be irrelevant if Zuffa get all the fighters. Respectfully, if I mean, if Paramount want to take over boxing, they just put 7.7 billion in the UFC. They put 1.1 billion in the in the Zuffa. Like, who is investing? I mean, is Al Heyman going to be around and take over and continue? Is Doxy De La Hoya
Yeah,
going to
I
get
think
a
Oscar
billion
De La Hoya gonna
dollars?
sell, or excuse
Yeah,
me, PBC. I think PBC is gonna sell eventually.
right. So that's what I'm saying. Everything. If these boxes come on the Zuffa and then the MMA, UFC has pretty much the top league. They can have secondary leagues, carrier, but they need to have some representation because if you don't have no representation, like you said, it's gonna be like you gonna take what we give you. So we see how the NFL is working, the NBA, the MLB, in these leagues. Now, what they're trying to say is free and to work around it. They're not a league; they're a promoter. You see what I'm saying? That's the kind of benefit them. So that way, there's no reason to have a union because it.
Like free. The point you brought up of like the UFC fighters not knowing how or not being able to see how much is brought in, that's something that doesn't happen in the NBA and NFL. In they CBAs, it very clearly states we are taking 50% of the revenue share, and that's how it's gonna be. They
Right.
don't have that in UFC or boxing. Now, if they could get that, great. But like Carrier said in the chat, it's like I just don't see boxers unionizing. I just don't see it. Like I feel like guys are too selfish.
Yeah, I don't think there should be. It should almost be as if, like you saying, if it's like a 50-50, if it's a 50-50 type of thing, Mark, then they will have to have like a strict schedule for boxers. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you're gonna fight. We mandatory. It's mandated that you fight 4 times a year or 3 times a year, right? So we can allocate a certain amount of the revenue share to you as a fighter, right? Whatever,
Yeah.
based on what you garner and based on your pay scale. Like LeBron gets paid more than Bronny. Everybody's gonna get paid what they weigh, but it's just the overall revenue that the company is making on all these individual events. That has to be a certain split to the fighters, which will be 50%. And then the entity that owns the league, TKO Holdings, will get 50%. I think they can make it make sense. They don't want to, Mark. They don't want the boxers to unionize because yeah, like Kerry
Nope.
said, boxing is too corrupt. They don't want them to unionize. They can make it make sense. It's a lot of brilliant minds out here, all these brilliant minds, the leaders over there, TKO. Then and if they wanted, they could use the expertise of like Adam Silver or David Stern, anybody, you know what I mean? They got a lot of people that they can bring in to kind of ensure that the boxes are protected. But we'll see. I mean, hopefully we'll see because I'm gonna be honest with you, Mark. I didn't see the whole hearing, the Senate hearing, but nobody in their right mind that understands sports in America would allow a slave type deal where the fighters themselves are pretty much subject to no insurance, no retirement. They don't get to choose who they fight. They don't get to choose their pay. Their pay is
Well, no,
set.
the legislation it makes provisions for insurance. I think like
Okay, good.
$25,000 worth. But the retirement part,
And
I
it's so
agree.
it's a
Like
cap. It's
that's
so
something that should be in like a CBA. Where like if
right,
you reach like a 15 fight minimum or a 20 fight minimum, you get a pension package.
right. Or if you retire, or if you retire from the sport where medically you can no longer participate.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's definitely ways to do this. I think for it to make sense. Kerry, we talked about Devin Haney a little. We talked about Devin Haney earlier in the show. Let me we'll pivot back to it real quick. Marky, let me ask you this about like Devin. Do you feel like what's the reason why these guys are not getting in the ring with Devin? Do you just feel like he's like Ryan, kind of like looking to maneuver and try to fight Connor? Connor saying he didn't want to fight Devin. Um, what's your thoughts on it? Do you feel like it's a money thing, it's a style thing, or it's just a leverage thing, or do you feel like these guys will fight Devin, but they looking for other fights that are more lucrative? Talk to me.
I think it's a style thing. I think the problem with Devin Haney is if you lose to a Devin Haney, you're gonna look terrible in that loss. So you would rather lose to somebody like a Connor Ben because at least you know you're gonna put some hands on Connor Ben. You like unless you are like have some type of attributes like a Ryan Garcia, he has that lightning quick left hook and fast hands. You're probably not gonna touch Devin Haney. So I get why they wouldn't want to fight him.
Yeah, Mark, I got a phone, and let me ask you this, Mark. Um, just speak about when if you can, just like how do you feel like it's a bad look? Because I was hearing that Ryan is potentially even going to go to Zuffa. What do you think about Ryan signing to Zuffa? Do you think is it the same? Is it a bad look for Ryan like it's a bad look for Devin, or is it is there bias and
Why
what
would
talk
it
to
be
me?
a bad? It would be a bad look for Oscar De La Hoya, who's in Congress right now, fighting to not get the the Ali Reform Act passed, while his top fighter is going over to Zuffa, who is advocating for the Reform Act. So no, I don't see how that would be a bad a bad look for the for Ryan Garcia himself. Unless you're somebody who's with the Boxers Union Party, you know what I'm saying? Unless you're somebody of that mindset, you might look at those dudes as sellouts, you know? But outside of that, no. Like, I don't see how that would be a bad look for him. Like, my whole thing is though, I hope that these fighters right now, they take especially the guys with leverage like Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez. If they could get a boot tennis over there, because Dana White seems to have a thing for stealing Eddie Hearn's fighters. They took Richardson Hitchens, Devin Haney, and Connor Bid. Excuse me. Um, what I would like to see is they really get together. If not for these current fighters, the future, because Zuffa is buying out the media rights to the USA National Boxing Tournament. So that means they're going to have their own farm system, like what the NFL and the NBA has with college football and college basketball. So, and at least in those sports, those rookies coming in, they have like a real minimum that was negotiated by their unions. Whereas it's going to be whatever Zuffa decides to pay them, and then like their bargaining power is going to be within fighting for Zuffa. Like all their fights are going to be on Zuffa cards. So like that's something Zuffa can keep in their back pocket to say like, bro, we built you. You didn't build yourself. Like why should we have to pay you X, Y, and Z? You want to try this free market and see what it's really like? Especially when we own everything and these belts grow into irrelevancy. So that would be my biggest thing. Like do what's right for the future and for the and for these future fighters who are going to come into a game with probably the least mobility that we've ever seen. Nah, Bentley, he didn't fight Rolly because the reports are they were not offering him guaranteed money. And if you want to say that that's playing scared, I mean, I guess you can, but who you know that wants to go to work and you don't got a guarantee to getting paid after you work 12 hours? Like, what are we
And
talking
then they
about? And
gotta.
in this case, the fighters work for 8 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Cutting weight
Mhm.
and then getting in the ring. Like,
And
who would
not
you know who would want to
and
do
not
that?
only that, Mark, the people will
Especially
say
when Devin Haney still has that one fight deal left with Turkey for 12 for I believe between 12 and 14 million dollars. Like that's just not
Mark, can
smart
you hear me?
business in any way, shape, form, or fashion.
I don't think Mark can hear me. Mark, you can hear me?
Super ain't going to be around for long.
Yeah. Mark.
No, I think the current state of boxing is not going to be around for long. Like respectfully, nobody has the resources to compete with a Zuffa Boxing. And the more and more we see big names moving over there, I mean, the more, or rather, the less and less relevant the current state of boxing is going to become. So, hey,
Mark, you can hear
do
me?
whatever you will. Yeah,
Okay, I was gonna say, with that Devin situation with Rolly, like, and Ben, you gotta think about it from the perspective of y'all sell everybody in the world. Devin can't sell. He not gonna sell at the gate. You know, he not gonna sell at the pay per view or whatever. Meanwhile, uh, everybody just alluding to the fact PBC is gonna sell the fight. Oh, people gonna purchase it, and people gonna show up because it's PBC. It's a PBC pay per view. So it's like, so PBC fighting now. I mean, I'm lost. I thought people watch boxing for the fighters. You know what I'm saying? They're not watching boxing for the promotional company. That's what I'm saying. These guys, they backing this PBC thing so hard that they not even it's not even making sense. You're talking on both sides of your neck.
and then the
Uh,
PBC dudes, they do 8 cards a year, and
right
Zuffa
now,
already did
and
like
me,
five. Like this gonna be their fifth card this weekend with Bo.
right. So that's what I'm saying. So look at it like this from this standpoint. A Rolly Devin pay per view. I need y'all put it in the chat. How many pay per views y'all predict they do? And Mark, you tell me. We'll do the math real quick. How many at $79.99? Let's just round it up to $80 a pop. How many pay per views does Rolly and Devin do?
I think somewhere between 225 and maybe 350.
And so you okay. Now
It's pretty decent. That's pretty
that's actually
decent.
good. I think you are a higher end, but you're a Devin Haney fan. So all right, so we'll
But
do
I
three
no,
hundred
but I
fifty
think
thousand.
Rolly being a former Tank opponent, and Devin Haney just being somebody that people love to hate. Like I just think that the media circus for that fight would be close to what it was for Dev versus Ryan.
Mm. So I'm with you. I see what you're saying. I definitely see what you're saying now. If they gave him full transparency like they did Crawford, you know, being an independent entity, then I could see them doing it. I could see them doing it. Now, 350,000 pay-per-views at $80 a pop, that's 28 million. So that would literally cover his 6 million, and then both entities would split 11. Because I would take it to 22 million dollars. They'll split it. He said they had to split it 50-50, so that'd be 11 million each. So if it played out that way, that makes sense, Mark. But with piracy and all that other stuff, there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee what you're saying could actually now that's the high end. So 11 million each, right? The low end, you said 22.5. If the low end of
Give me one second, Dre. I'll be back.
$225,080 a piece, I got you, Mark. That's 18 million. So if it does 18 million, which of course Loma didn't even do 150K. We know Regis what it did about. Some people say 100, 110. Some people say 65. So it all got to make sense. Um, at $18 million, you take out 6 million for the expenses, and you get 12 million. So they split six. So he made. So really, he was only gonna make 6 million for the fight. Now that all, I mean, it sounds good to people, but when you got a guaranteed purse on the line, nobody's doing that. You gonna give me my guaranteed purse that you provided me, and I'm gonna fight whoever you want me to fight. Like he did with Jose Ramirez, like he did with Brian Norman Jr. You gotta take with a bird in the hand. Y'all know what it is. To rely on these jokers, and let me say this. I know this because I'm covering the sport. You can barely get $7 out of jokers without jokers talking about they got bills and all this other stuff. If you can find something, if you can get something for free, you gonna do it. It's just that's how people work. If you can get it for free, why you gonna pay for it? So you mean to tell me y'all gonna pay $80 for a Rolly Romero fight? And you gotta knock it off. You gotta knock it off. If you can get it for free, you're gonna get it for free. It's just that simple. Now Devin is gonna have his constituency that's gonna buy the fight, but y- people banking on the PBC love and affection to see if they gonna support Rolly, which is nuts. Like, like really? That's what y'all want. Let me see
Will you
this.
shut the fuck? Shut. Did I say? No. Oh shit. Say it again. Say something else. Oh. Say something else. Say something else, nigga.
Ain't no way. The dudes that's thieving and stealing fights. Well, let me see how many Tank versus Lamont did. Tank versus Lamont pay-per-views. Okay, so they did 260 to 262. So it said Tank versus Lamont did about 260 pay-per-view buys. So 260 times 80. That's 20 million, right? 20 almost $21 million. I'm just saying, y'all, you playing a risky game when you relying on when you getting no guaranteed money, and then you have to get pay-per-view back in uh from a company that's known to give out monthly stipends to brothers. So we gotta make it make sense. At the end of the day, I want Devin to sign to Zuffa Boxing and make the Conor Ben fight, make the Hitchens fight. Go ahead and do it. If he can't make the Ryan fight should be the priority. Oscar De La Hoya wanted it. Devin said he wanted it. We not getting an agreement for whatever reason. They should already be in testing. They should already be having that fight signed. It should be Ryan. It should be Rolly. If neither one of those two options on the table, we should be getting Devin with Zuffa and fighting Conor Ben. It's just, and they could do it on whatever platform they want to do it on, but that makes the most sense, and that's what I want to see. Outside of that, listen, we're gonna be back Friday. This is a beautiful show. I appreciate Free Juan and Marky pulling up. Listen, y'all support the Sports Talk Network, the People's Network. We definitely building. Listen, I'm TikTok superstar on TikTok, man. We definitely growing and building. We reaching a lot of people. We praying for people. I'm sowing in people's lives. I'm sowing in the young children, praying for them, being an example of what a man is supposed to look like. Holding your head high, your back straight, walking what you talking, practicing what you preach, being an example, man. Men have to be an example for the youth. We can't all be inebriated, high, cursing. We have to be examples, because what's going to happen is you'll see that the state of these young men, It's disgusting. It's a lot of perversion. It's a lot of lust. It's nasty. We got to mature ourselves. We got to lay off of the porn, lay off of the lust, lay off the sexualizing of ourselves, and definitely we have to treat our women as queens. It's so important. It's so important. We have to lock in. Our young women are looking at us like we are filth. They have these young our young girls, they have no respect for us because we don't respect ourselves. We got to have more respect for ourselves. We got to be cognizant of everything we do, everything we say. We have to be extremely intentional about everything we do. Our actions are seeds we sow into our children. Our actions are seeds we sow into our future. Whatever you consume, your kids will consume. Whatever you do, your kids are going to do. They mimic you, they watch you. They're going to do everything daddy does. Keep that in mind. They're gonna do everything that mommy does. Keep that in mind. Remember to lead by example in all ways. God bless y'all. Hey, listen. Let me pray over us. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for your grace, your love, your mercy. I thank you for breathing life into us another day, giving us another opportunity to gather together and fellowship with one another. I just ask you lift up all the men, soften their hearts, cleanse their minds of all unrighteousness. That way you can use them for your good, for your grace, for your will to be done in this world. Help our men to remove lust, remove selfishness, remove envy, remove jealousy. Take that spirit of manipulation out. Any demonic forces, any negativity that's hindering us from growth, from loving on one another. Remove that spirit from us. That way your will can be done and you can be glorified in our lives and in our everyday walk. Allow us to be examples for others that come after us. Allow us to be examples for other men and other women to look at us as leaders, that look at us as royalty, that look at us as kings and princes, so that way we can have our natural birthright. We are kings. Lord God, I can continue to, and I just want to lift up all the youth, Lord God. Touch our hearts, watch over our youth, keep our youth safe, Lord God. As they go, as they come, keep our youth safe, that your will be done. In Jesus' name, amen. Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'll be back tomorrow. Listen, make sure you continue to sow into your family the right things. Make sure you're patronizing and supporting the right things. Whatever you sow into, that's what you're going to reap. So keep sowing into negativity, keep sowing into lust. You're gonna reap that. That stuff is gonna be sitting on your kids. That's gonna be within your kids. That lust, that's gonna be on your kids. Remember this. Every day you have to be intentional about what you do. Every day, you cannot let a day go by. Stop enabling yourself. We gotta kill the enabling. Y'all didn't think I want to smoke on 420 like everybody else? I had to quit smoking because I had to sow into my future. I had to lead by example. We in the world, we not of the world. The world gonna say smoke. Hey, smoke. It's okay to smoke. It's legal, right? God said no. Stand out. Be a standout. Put me first, and I'll give you all things. I'll give you the desires of your heart that's pure. We gotta get our hearts pure, y'all. I love y'all. I'll be back tomorrow. Peace.
I need money.